The final blog page that I'm going to create is an archive page that shows posts by category or by tag. You can see here that for each of the posts we've got categories and we've got tags. If I click on these, they'll go to a 404. But if we have a look on the query string, you can see here I'm looking for a category relocation. And with these tags, we click on the tag. You see on the query string we've got tag and then young people. So what we need to do is create a page, an archive page, that will allow us to filter by these different things. So let's have a look at how we do that. We've got our index.php page, which is the home page listing page, and I'm going to save that as archive.php because essentially our archive is just like the home page listing. It's a listing of posts. We're just filtering it in a different way. Let's say archive.php. And then if we scroll down here, we can find Perch blog recent posts, and that's what we used on the home page. So we're going to need to change this, and we're going to use the Perch blog custom function. So before I start to output the posts, I want to set up some variables to use, because we're going to be filtering and displaying the posts in a few different ways, but there's some things that are going to be common to all of them. So let's set those things up first. So I'm going to say posts per page. Let's make that 10. And we want to pass in a template. Now I'm going to use a default Perch template here, one of the Perch blog templates. So this is post in list.html. And we want a sort order. And that's going to be descending, so we use desc, which is what MySQL needs. And then we say sort by. And this is going to be post date time, which is a field in the template. And normally with a blog you want to order things when they're most recently posted. Now I'm also going to set up a variable which is post displayed. And set that to false. We haven't displayed any posts yet, and we'll see how we use that in a minute. So there's some variables I've set up. So now each of these contains that value that I've put there, and it means that you can change those and change all of how different posts display by doing that. So let's now output posts by category. So let's remove this. And I'm also going to remove the heading there because I want to also output a heading to say which category we're working in or which tag. So let's remove that. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to see if we've got a category. And we're going to use that Perch get function again. But this time we're going to pass in cat. Now this will only return true if we get something for the value of cat. If cat doesn't exist on the query string, or if it's empty, Perch get is going to return false, and so this statement, this if statement, won't ever match, so the code inside won't run. But if we do get this category, then what we can do is we can output a heading. And I'm going to say archive of. And we're just building up a string here with PHP, is all we're doing. And so here we want to actually output not this slug, which is what's going to come through on the query string. We want to actually output the nice title of the category. So if we use Perch blog category function, and then Perch get cat, and a final value of true because we're echoing this out. Otherwise these functions will just output the thing directly onto the page. I'm returning that as true because I'm outputting this in the middle of another statement. So as a quick test, if we save this, and if we head back to our page, now if we click on a category, archive of relocation. So it's collected the relocation category from that query string. And if we click on, say, employees, archive of employees, great, so far so good. So what we're doing is we're getting the information about that category back from Perch. That's great. We can now output the linked posts for that category. So still staying inside that if, because we're working with when we have a category on the query string, we're going to use Perch blog custom. So this is one of these custom functions, just like Perch content custom. As we say, Perch blog custom, and this needs an array, so we can use those square brackets to say that we're working with an array. And this is where we put in the different options that we want to use. So I'm going to start with category, because that's what we're looking for. And so for that, we're using Perch get cat once again. And then we're using template. Now, if you remember, we set up some variables for this, so I can use the variable I set up earlier here. And count is going to be, again, a variable, posts per page. And then we've got sort, which uses sort by. And we've got sort order. And that uses my sort order variable. And then having done that, I'm going to say posts displayed equals true, because we actually got a match. We realized that yes, we are working within category, so that's great. We should have some posts there. So if we go back to the browser, and there's the post that's in the employees category. You can see we've got one post there. And if we went to relocation, we've got two posts under relocation. And the same with business, it's got the same two posts in. So that's our categories working. Now we also want to do tags, because we also have these tags here. So that's going to work in basically the same way, except we're going to be looking for tag rather than cat. So if we just grab all of that and we can put that down here. So this time we're going to say tag. And so here instead of category, we're going to use Perch blog tag and Perch get tag. And here instead of category, you won't be surprised to know that we're looking for a tag and using the value of Perch get tag. But everything else is staying exactly the same because we've got these variables. So let's save that. And there we go, archive of young people. We've got not the slug, we've got the nice friendly name of that. And this is the post that's under that tag. Now, someone might, instead of going to archive.php with something on the query string, they might just visit archive.php, in which case they're not going to get anything. So that's not very friendly. So it's kind of good practice to have an else. And this is why we did that post displayed. Say, well, I didn't find any tag or any category on the query string, so I'm just going to display the most recent posts in that case. So here I say if posts displayed equals false. So if it's still false because it's not matched anything there, I'm just going to display an archive. And you could do anything you wanted here. And I'm going to use Perch Blog Custom again. So we can just copy that from before. But we're not going to filter on tag or on category. We're just going to use those variables that we had. And this will just show the posts in listing order. This is actually the same as doing the recent posts that we do on the home page, except we're doing it here with Perch Blog Custom. That Perch Blog Recent Post is essentially just a convenience function. Most of the things in blog you can do with Perch Blog Custom, and that gives you a little bit more flexibility in terms of how you display things. So if we save that, and there's the archive of posts. So you can use Perch Blog Custom to do all kinds of filtering. Perhaps you might want a date archive, for instance. You want to display things for each month. Well, you can do that in exactly the same way as we just created our tags and category archive. If you have a look at the Perch Blog Custom function in the documentation, you'll see there's an awful lot of different things that you can pass in to test. And there's a usage example here which filters between two dates, for example, and sends in multiple categories. So you can do all kinds of things with that function to really get at the bits of content that you want to show.